This interview is already in progress. Thank you for listening.
I was trying to remember the other day, I think I was on a film set calling in, I believe, or I was on a film set or I was on a gig somehow. I was either on a film set or I was at a function where I had to DJ or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you did. Because
in the middle of something.
We had planned it.
I was walking around the North Charleston Coliseum. And, I was either in between takes or in between, I had to tell the guy I was working with, hey, I got to step out for a minute.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. When I first started, I used to plan this stuff. Let's see it. Okay, when I used to plan every year when I first started out in radio. I used to plan every year for a Christmas. I always wanted to celebrate Christmas with a Christmas special of some type. And Brian has always been so helpful that I decided to do a Christmas special with Brian. I said, we're going to do this Christmas special, and we're going to sing this song together. So I elected to pick the song, Baby It's Cold Outside. And I did not expect for him to have a gig that day. And he had a gig that day. And he was like, we could do this. So here we are trying to sing this song, and he's ducking and dodging because he's actually at a job that he's supposed to be doing.
It was definitely special.
It was a mess.
Yeah, I was either on a film set or I was at a DJ gig. I know it was one of the two because I was at the North Charleston Coliseum walking around don't know the words. I didn't have them in front of me. Obviously, I'm like, I don't know the words of this thing, and I'm just kind of out in the air. But anyway, it's been a while since I've been on. It's great to talk to you again and catch up. Like you said, a lot of stuff's been going on. I've been doing some films, and I'm kind of concentrating more on acting these days. Although I still do stand up. I just did a gig last week, I think, and I've got more coming down the road. I want to get back up there to Kazi's or whatever club will have me up there in Virginia Beach. But, you know how these things go. Or, y'all diamonds out there, let's do a diamond event for Lena, and I'll come up and perform.
Yeah, I tried to
sometimes.
I tried to get you booked with me before.
Yeah.
But everybody was so against it. They were just like, "Oh, you're going to use a white person."
Oh, really? Oh, God. Terrible. No, I've done all black shows before. I've done a couple of black reunions. And what's funny is a comedian friend of mine, his name's Kurt Green, black comedian. And we were talking about that. I said, yeah, I've done family reunions, but they've all been, black folks. And he's like, yeah, well, guess what? Next week I'm doing one for white people. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I didn't think white people did reunions. I said, I didn't either. And so I haven't talked to him in the last month or so, but I'm wondering if he did the joke, because he said he's going to go up there and say that, And,
the white people don't have reunions?
Right. You're all the only white people I know that have family reunions. And, use me. And I said, yeah, go ahead, you can use me. But, whatever. We'll have to get a mixed crowd then, I guess. But I've done commercials a lot lately around here. In South Carolina, there's a lawyer. Actually, Lena, you won't believe this, and it's online. And it's on TV. I know it's on TV, too, here in South Carolina. But I rap in a commercial, believe it.
You what?
Yes. Obviously I got paid. So does that make me a professional rapper now? Yeah, I play an insurance. I play the insurance, the bad, evil insurance guy, and there's a real. I'm rapping. You'll seen these rap battles, I'm sure, and so I'm in a rap battle, and I'm the bad insurance guy, and then the real DJ, and this is his name's DJ Dollar Menu, and that's his real name, and he's a DJ. He's a real rap guy, and so we do a rap, and of course he wins, and it's only a 30-second commercial, but as a matter of fact, when I did the recent All Black reunion, they couldn't believe it. I said, yeah, I'm in a George Sink commercial, and with somebody, because this was in Florence, South Carolina. One lady went, I seen you, she yells it out. And so I did the rap at the show. And I'm thinking, man, I got to start putting that in my act because it got to
Give us a sample. I want a sample. Of the rap.
I'm the insurance agent, and I'm here to stall. Here's my number. Take it down, and I won't take your call. Paperwork piling up for 90 days. I'm sorry. Paperwork piling up. That's a game we play, but we might call you back in 90 days. Peace. That's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I try to. I got to get it down again because
it's okay. It's okay.
I don't do it that often.
Stick to acting.
Well, I mean, when I do it right, it usually, because it's kind of a funny rap. Anyway. But yeah, I don't practice it because obviously I'm only doing it periodically if I do it at all. I mean, I'll do it in South Carolina mainly because that's where people know George Sink. He's all over South Carolina. But yeah, I've been doing that. I did Weatherman this year. I did a part in a horror film called The Seventh Day, which came out in October. But what happens is I do a lot of independent films. So, they come out at, sometimes they'll come out to theaters, but limited release. Like this one was in New York. And for one night, it had 2 shows up there. And now, you don't know what's going on with it. So the guy, his name's Yaw, Y-A-W, and he's out of New York, and he's looking at different platforms right now. So you don't know. I don't know where it's going to be. It could be on Netflix. It could be on Tubi. You never know. So that's
you have had shows on Tubi, though, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got, right now you can go see Treasure Box. I play a John chasing a hooker around, believe it or not. The big one, though, is Oak on the Outside, and that one's got over 1 million views on YouTube, and then it's got 5 to 6 million views on all the platforms like Amazon, Tubi, I forgot what all they're on. Fossum, I think, is one of them. Then there's another one that's on Amazon called The Third Party, where I play. And Oak on the Outside, I'm a detective, and in The Third Party, I'm a politician's chief of staff. This guy's running for president, so I play his chief of staff. Putting that together for him, and then. God, I can't remember what else is on Tubi off the top of my head. I know there's a few more, but it's always, I get up, and if I'm not going to a gig, then I'm looking for a gig. That's what I tell people. That's my life. Mm-hmm. It's either looking for work or getting ready to go do the work.
Getting ready to go do the work. One or the two.
Right. So that's every day now. Like after this, I found an audition for a voiceover, so I'm going to do it right after we get off, and after that I don't know. I'm thinking, do I want to go get some beer? I mean, I won't start drinking.
It's Thursday. Hey, you know what? It's Friday somewhere. It's Friday in happy hour somewhere. That's the way you just have to think about it.
Right. And then, Friday I got to drive up to Florence and do what they call brand ambassador. That's the closest thing I have to a normal / day job. Every once in a while I will do that. And that's basically it's giving out alcohol samples or, sometimes food, but mainly alcohol. So I do those still on occasion. if like this was a slow week. I did trivia. I host trivia when I'm in town, and that keeps me loose. You know what I mean? And if you're a comedian or an actor out there, or even just somebody that loves music, I wish I'd have known this years ago, Lena, because I know I didn't mention this at all. I don't think whenever we were doing our thing like 10 or 11 years ago, or if I did, it was very infrequent. But I've learned that, especially if you're an entertainer, the more you're out there doing things, they feed to each other. So, doing trivia when I don't have any other gigs keeps me so loose. And if I got a few weeks or so in between stand-up gigs, I don't feel like I haven't been on stage, or I haven't, I don't get a lot of ring rust, if you know what I mean. Because I had people dying laughing the other night at trivia because, these people answer the questions, and, I can't help it. I'm a comedian. So the question was how many bones in the human body, and the answer is 206. And this team turns in 326. And all the other teams were close, so I couldn't help it, man. I said, there's one team out there, folks, that's going to need some surgery because they said 326 bones, and so I had the crowd laugh out, and I've made up a couple other things, they actually had more points than anybody else. I said it must be the extra bones, and stuff like that. So you get loose, you stay loose. So I'm just saying, if you're a comedian or an actor, and you're like not wanting to have a day job, pursue stuff like that. Because the thing that happens is, if you're a good employee, so I've filled in last minute for this company that I work for. They have somebody fall out and they need trivia real quick, or bingo, I'll go. But they know that if I get a stand-up gig or an acting gig, I'm canceling. And then they're going to have to fill it in. We just have that understanding. And they're not going to let me go because I've saved their butts so many times. But I mean, that's just my advice to young comics, young actors, or old actors. I mean, you can't have a day job. It's just, and pursue this with any seriousness. I mean, you can, I guess. I know guys that are realtors and stuff that have been able to do it. But if you've got a 9 to 5, it's going to be tough. Because sometimes you have to last minute. You got to go. And I did 2 gigs this year that I'm starting to get weird gigs, Lena, because of all this, because of all the things I've done. My skill set is expanding. Yes. I was flown to Chicago 1 week, and then 2 weeks later I was flown to New Orleans, and this was in September, because I was an actor / improv actor, whatever you want to call it, for lawyer training. Now, what happens is you got lawyers out there, either their firm or they themselves want to up their game as far as cross-examination. And there's this, it's called Dodd Law Firm. They have a clinic that they put on for lawyers that want to get better at cross-examining. Well, when you do that, you have to have actors that act as the witness for them to cross-examine. And I went through a process and made it into their pool of actors. And now that's, I've got that on my resume, and I'll be doing it again. I just reached out to them. So this in 26, in the fall, looks like I'll be going back to Chicago. I don't know where else right yet because they're still making their schedule. But I mean, that was 2 days of intense stuff, Lena, because I had to study the cases. There's certain points that you have to stick with, and then you kind of improv the rest of it. Because you're on a stand for 10, 15 minutes, and these guys are, trying to catch you. And, you sometimes you let them win. Sometimes, there's certain things you can't give up. And it was a different skill set. But to me, after I did that, and it's a 2-day clinic each time, and this is first-class stuff. I'm covered from the time I leave my apartment till I get back. They pay for everything. And that's the kind of things that are starting to go on now. Now aside from, movies and whatever else, TV, I'm starting to get stuff like that, where I'm a fake speaker. I did that this year. I was a fake employee for a company. And, this was down in Marco Island, Florida, and I had to be a jerk. Basically, I got paid to be a jerk. I went around and acted like I knew everything. And the owner knew of this multi-million-dollar company. He knew, and then the guy that booked me, but nobody else did. None of the other employees. And this is a countrywide, they're all over the United States, and they all come together once a year for this annual thing. And so I was there acting like I knew everything. And I fooled them, because I remember afterwards, after they revealed me, there were people going, man, we were looking at each other going, that guy ain't going to last 2 weeks. So it's really cool. But that's the thing. You have to be available for stuff like that. And I think doing things like that just makes me stronger all the way around as a performer. And that's where I'm at right now. Just trying to, soak up everything I can. I love doing these different gigs like that.
Yeah, and that takes me into my question for you.
Sure.
Now, you've been doing stand-up for well over 25 years. Mm-hmm. You've been across in U.S., Canada, Bahamas, and Japan?
Yes.
Yeah. What's one moment on the road that truly shaped your perspective as a comedian?
As in stand-up, that's always, it's like changing which moment, because you learn something, you come to epiphany or whatever, and then another year or two down the road, it happens again at a different level. You know what I mean? So it's levels. Like when Japan, that was huge. You're just sitting there and you're just going, wow, this is amazing. And then, I do the Atlantis Resort at the Bahamas. There's another one where, I'm just going boom. Or recently I was in someone's house. That doesn't sound like anything, like, wow, Japan, the Mount Fuji and everything, but on a different level, because it was really cool to go to someone's house, do their birthday party. And this is like 2 or 3 months ago. And I did improv too. These people wanted over an hour of entertainment. I think I did almost an hour and a half. But I did stand up, and then I kind of made the show towards her. I tried to make it all about her and kind of shape my material that way. And then I did the little improv game. And, when people are just genuinely happy that you've come and performed for them, that's another level too. It's so different than, the big deal of going to Japan. Here I'm driving to someone's house about 45 minutes from here, maybe 40 at the Isle of Palms, and that's just as big. You know what I'm saying? In a way, because to be able to do that for that long, and not just the length of time, but just bring genuine joy to this person, that's big. That's as big as going to the Atlantis Resort of Japan for the Marines.
Wow.
So those moments, there's a lot of them. If you start looking for them, or you start letting them happen, or, you open yourself up to each gig, having its own little special moment. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes it's like, good God, I can't wait to get off the stage and get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? Those you're going to have. I don't care how, anybody that tells me, and I had a comic I saw online, I never have a bad show. Because I do all the research and, and he's just sitting there, blowing his mouth off. And I'm going, either he's lying or he's just puffed up piece of, what. I'm like, yeah, this is ridiculous. I think you got to let the moments happen. And the older you get, young folks can too, but for me, the older I've gotten, the more I've learned to appreciate those things. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that I could do that. That's the other thing. And I'm not trying to pump myself up. I'm just saying, you know, after that, what you said, 25 years, you know, that just tells you you're doing the right thing. Because if I couldn't do that after 25 years, maybe it is time I sold, you know, the side housing or whatever, you know, went out and tried to sell cars or something. Yeah, because, and that's when you tell yourself, oh, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. And I know it sounds weird that you have to tell yourself that after so many years, but you do, you know, because you still have shows where you go, get me the hell out of here. And
I can imagine, you know, because, you know, the events that I do, and I book these performers, and they come on and they perform, and I look out in the audience, and it has to be difficult because you got some people that are sitting out there. The audience is always mixed with different emotions. You got some people that are anxious and happy to see you, can't wait till you get on and start talking or singing, whatever it is you're going to do. Then you have another set that's looking there like what you get ready to do. Then you have the other set that's looking at entertain me. I paid my money, and this is what I want you to do. And you have, especially as a comedian, because everybody don't think everything is funny. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it has to be difficult to come out there and try to give an opening line to a bunch of people that's sitting there waiting for you to entertain them that they may not find funny. That has to be difficult as heck. I think I would probably just drop the mic and say, hey, I can't do this.
Yeah, you have those people that sit there with their arms crossed, you know, daring you to make them laugh. And, you know, I just, and it's baffling to me, even after all these years, it's like, why in the hell are you here? Why? Because you can't go into a comedy show, especially thinking, you know, you make me laugh, you know, you've got to kind of be a participant a little bit, you know, but there's people that have that attitude that, no, I'm paying, you know, they got to do everything.
That's right.
It's like, wait a second, dummy. You don't go to a movie and go, scare me, you know, or you know, you become part of the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get your mindset into it or something. You know, if you go into a movie and sit there and cross your arms and, you know, you got to give a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You got to get into it. You can't look at your phone and then every once in a while look at the screen and think you're going to get into a film. You know, it's the same thing with comedy, you know, or a band even. You know, you go in there, you've got, look, think about it. You go to a band, do you see people just sitting there waiting for the band to do something to make them, you know, to a degree they do, but I mean, usually people are excited to see the band. They're all up. They're giving the band energy, you know, before the band really, you know, gets going sometimes. And that's the same thing with comedy, or that's the same thing with going to a movie. If you're not giving out any energy towards whatever entertainment you're taking a part in, I mean, I hate to be blunt, but screw you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm serious. You know, get the hell out of here. Yeah. Who needs you?
Yeah.
The audience don't need you sitting there with your arms crossed. I don't need you sitting there with your arms crossed. Go get your money. Hell, I've been at shows where the headliner pulled $20 out of his pocket and handed it to the guy up front or whoever in the audience, said, sir, here, get the hell out of here.
Here's your money. Here's your refund. Go.
Gave him his money back. Get the hell out. Because who needs people like that?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
it doesn't do the show any good. It doesn't do these people that think, oh, will make me laugh. It doesn't do them any good. You're just going to be a piss poor son of a gun. You know what I mean? Your life is just going to be crap from birth to death. And it's your fault. That's what's funny about it to me. So, you know, it's these people's fault.
So, I mean, what do you think about that? I've never really seen you stand up, so I don't think that you are that type of comedian. But what do you think about the comedians that use the audience as their skit? So they come in and they pick on the people in the audience. They talk about the people. They look for people to point out and pick on and stuff like that. You have a lot of people. I know at the Laugh Stop here in Virginia Beach, last place you want to sit is the front. I had went to it was one time I went to the comedy club here in Virginia Beach, and we went with an older couple that worked with my husband. Her husband worked with my husband. So we go to the comedy place. We got tickets. We go to this comedy place, and they have us all, everybody's in line waiting to be seated because they had to seat you. So we were in the front of the line because we were early. So we had sat, they put us like right in front of the, where the stage was. Now, I thought we might have a little problem because my husband's friend he's an older guy. He's very dark, and his hair is very white. He's got, white little fro, white goatee. He's just white everywhere on his beautiful dark skin. And we sat there in front of that audience, and they put us there, and that comedian picked on him so bad. It was so bad. And, and it was, the thing about it is that you don't want to laugh. And, but the comedian was funny. The things that he was saying was funny. So it was hard for me not to laugh. And I saw where his wife was getting really upset about the comedian.
Oh, really?
The comedian kept calling him Uncle Ben.
Oh, okay.
He's asked him about, how'd you get off the box?
Right. If I'm, making the rice, is it 20 minutes or 15? Right.
He picked on him so bad. And you could tell he was uncomfortable. I just think that if you're picking on a person and they're not in that zone, where they're laughing and, and poking back at you and things like that, I think you should stop. Because apparently this person is uncomfortable and doesn't like being put on spot like that. But the comedian kept on. He just kept going at him and going at him. And I kept laughing. That was so bad. It was so bad, Brian, I couldn't stop laughing. And I'm sitting right across from the people.
Well, I hate to say it, if you're laughing, the comic's not going to stop then. If everybody would just stop laughing, if he's smart, it'll register in his brain that, people aren't really getting into this. But when they're dying laughing, usually the comic's not going to stop because either he can't see, you know what I mean? He can see the guy, but, he can't really see the facial expressions or whether the guy's taking it well or not, because when you're on stage, the lights are sometimes a little bright and everything. I mean, you can see stuff, but not really, you know what I mean? It's kind of, I have material. So I don't really, I don't know. I'd have to see what happened. Did he just go up and see the guy? And
but that's not what you do. When you come in, you don't look for that to be your, No,
I agree. I think, I do to a point, but I don't, it's hard to explain. Because I do a lot of one-man shows too. And I do involve the audience a lot, but I don't pick on them. You know what I mean? Like the other night I did a country club in North Carolina, and this guy, I have a line that I do, and he set me up. He didn't even know it. That's what's funny about people. They yell stuff out, and they think, they're one-upping you. And the way he did it, I was like, man, this guy don't know. He just stepped into my trap, and I didn't even have a trap step. He made his own trap and put himself in it.
I don't have a skit, but I got one right now. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and he wouldn't. But now this ain't mean. A lot of the times I get into stuff with audience, it's never mean. They just like, I don't know why, but because of the way my show is and my personalities, people love to get involved sometimes, and it's not mean because he's. I'm asking about, what do you do when your wife asks you about what she's wearing, and this guy, he yells out something like, yeah, that's it. Or, wow, something, I forgot what he said. And, but I had my line that I always use. So when he did his, I knew, I was like, my line makes his look like crap. So this is going to be perfect, And I did, and I blew him out of the water, and the crowd loved it. But what I did after that is I kept taking his line and using it on other stuff, making fun of him.
Oh, you reversed it.
Yeah, and he laughed, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't like mean, it wasn't really mean. It was just me making fun of him, yelling, thinking he was cool, yelling his line out. Oh, yeah, watch this, And, me taking his line and showing how stupid it really was, because I would do something and I'd use his line, but I'd do it in a goofy way. And the crowd, I did about 2 or 3 callbacks. That's what I call it, callback. Mm-hmm. And, it just, there's gold there. But I mean, I don't think you don't go out. I mean, just me personally, I don't want to down another comic, but just to go out and point out people's whatever. I mean, I've done it before, but I try, I don't think being mean is ever good on stage unless it's a heckler. I mean, a negative heckler, let's put it that way. Somebody that's, just trying to ruin the show or just, saying suck or they have nothing good to add, It's like, then I say, open up that can and just pour it all over, just, obliterate the person. That's what my feeling is that they're, screwing up the show. I mean, they got to be just
taken down. You got to take him down.
Yeah,
you have to be sharper than he is and quicker than he is on the jokes because he could very well reverse that and have you looking like you're the joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're such amateurs. These people are amateurs. I think when I do one-man shows, I talk a lot to the audience because I'm doing different venues. See, a club venue, I would say, that's kind of, and like, again, I'm not denigrating this guy that you saw, this comedian. I'm just saying to me, it's kind of a cheap laugh. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. I mean, that might fit his character anyway. So that might be his whole thing. And that's great. If the audience, but it sucks if the target, because I'm bald. So I'll do bald jokes with other bald guys. You know what I mean? And I've never had a bald person get mad about that. And if I did, I'd go, did you see my head, sir? It's like, I'm bald too, So I think if you're making fun of people, you better make fun of yourself too. Or at least, it's smarter to make fun of yourself first before you start slamming somebody else,
Yeah.
And that's,
I can imagine.
So,
okay, so getting on that subject about, people saying things and being rude, when you have your act, you often touch up on growing up poor, divorce, relationships, your time in the U.S. Air Force. Now, how do you balance the humor with vulnerability when you're sharing your personal experience? Because I know I've had a lot of funny situations in life. I have the type of life that people wouldn't think things like that happened. But it does. So, but if I was to stand on stage and talk about any part of my life, I would get very emotional. I would probably start crying or,
right.
feeling get all choked up and stuff like that. So when you're talking about especially when it comes to talk about growing up poor, I'm pretty sure there have been some situations that you can think of today that will choke you up. So
I guess just because of who I am, that it really never really affected me like that. Because I don't know. It's almost like I distanced myself from my upbringing by making humor about it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, it's almost, it's like a therapy or whatever. It really doesn't affect me that way. Now, when I first started doing jokes about having a heart attack and all that was, of course, that's right there. I mean, hell, I was doing it right after I had the heart attack.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, 2 months later. So I was kind of a little emotional, when I started doing those bits, and then I kind of went away from it because somebody said something about it, and which I didn't. It wasn't bad. It was just, they kind of said, "Hey, you're kind of getting mushy up there," and I was like, "Yeah, I need, we want to keep it light." You know what I'm saying? So, and I think it's almost like a PSA, public service announcement or something, because I want to show people that you can laugh.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought he stepped on a cat or something. No. I don't know what that was. So I think if you're doing stuff like that, you have to lighten it up somehow, and you have to make it feel light, because the whole point of it is, I would think, the whole point of it is to show people to laugh at things, that you necessarily wouldn't laugh at. But if you can show people to find humor in those situations, like being poor, divorced family, which sucked, all that, and then, having a near fatal quadruple bypass and all that shit, you got to make it light so these people aren't feeling like you did when you're laying in the hospital bed.
Yeah, you don't want a bunch of people out there looking at you like, oh.
No, I want people to go, you mean his dad dropped him off at doctor's care on the way to get a bottle of liquor? I mean, that's what really happened, and my dad came back to get me, and I was in an ambulance because we didn't know I was having a heart attack when he dropped me off at doctor's care. He went to get champagne or something, and he comes back, and I'm in an ambulance passing him as he's going back to doctor's care. You can't make that stuff up. That really happened. And, he's getting there. He's going, "Where's my son?" And they go, "Oh, he had a heart attack." He's going downtown. And they actually told him the wrong hospital. He went to the wrong hospital looking for me. I wasn't there. So, you know what he does? He goes to the morgue. So, I mean, that's dark, but to me, it's funny as hell. It's like, "Hey, Dad, I don't know if they would have slapped me in there that fast. Well, he's gone. Stick him in the morgue."
Oh, why, Brian?
No, and so, it worked out, obviously. I mean,
It did.
But, and I mean, that's what I want to tell people, I had a girl come up to me with tears in her eyes. This was right after what happened to me. And at first I'm going, and I knew this, she was a friend of somebody's. And I was going, "Oh, God." And she gave me a big hug. And she goes, my dad had a heart attack, and he was still alive. She said, "My dad had a heart attack a year ago," or whatever it was. It was pretty recent. And I haven't been able to really, come to terms with it until tonight. And she was crying in a good way. She was like, she finally reached the level she could laugh a little bit about all that situation. And after that, I said, "You know what? I don't give a damn what anybody says. Like, yeah, you shouldn't say." I'm going to talk about it whenever I feel like.
Because it touches people in different ways. When you have so many different people in the audience, so many personalities, and so many different situations, you don't really know how that's going to hit home to someone.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
And if I can make one person just, go feel better about what they went through or what, their relative went through and, not look at it so serious, because it sucks if every day you wake up and, you're worried about dad, or you're worried about your wife, or you're worried about what, oh my God, I hope they don't. Because it's tough, especially on the person that had it. Mm-hmm. You wake up every morning, you're going, God, am I going to have another one today? And it takes a while to get over that. But if you can start, kind of giggling about certain things, and then you feel the pressure just go out of your chest. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's where you keep a lot of pressure. And you feel lighter when you laugh. The stress kind of goes away when you find humor in a situation.
Yeah. Now, comedy. Comedy has been around for a long time, and it's evolved. Since the 90s, it's evolved. What type of changes in the industry have surprised you the most? What in the industry that surprised you, the change that was made?
Well, I really don't do clubs that much anymore because of some of the things that are going on right now. I've got to get better marketing materials and stuff like that. But I'm really having fun doing these one-man shows that I get off of these platforms. I think that the big change that I think sucks is, now I'm not saying all clubs do this, but a decent amount do, is, how many followers do you have, on whatever social media platform. Yeah. And I just, I understand you want to get butts in the seat, but it's like, really? Is that the measure of if you're funny or not now? I mean, when we've got videos of a one-armed monkey being pet that get millions of views, you're going to tell me this guy has got 10,000 followers is funnier than me? Really? I mean, do you not have any common sense about what's going on?
Yeah.
So,
yes, I can see that.
That's one thing. I mean, there's guys like myself that have gotten older, and, we're not just sometimes, and I'm trying to learn, but we may not be as savvy as a 22-year-old kid, with how to work the internet and social media. So that guy's going to get gigs because I don't know how to attract followers. So that, to me, that's, well, whatever. It's your club, but it sucks for the industry because now you're putting people up there that I've seen it. I mean, people can argue with me and club owners can get mad at me or whatever, but I've been there. Mm-hmm. I've seen it in the last few years. I featured for a guy like that. He headlined because, he's got, I don't know, he's got 20,000 followers. So I'm watching and I'm thinking to myself, he's got to do 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I see the whole show. And you can argue with me if you want, Mr. Club Owner, but this kid only has a good 20 minutes. I watched it. I saw it, and you're putting him up for 45 because he's got, followers.
But see, I think this whole followers, viewers, likes, and share thing, I think it's all overrated, for one thing. I don't think that, I'm sorry to see it come out in comedy at that. Because people view and listen to what they want to. I don't care. You can have 100,000 followers. One thing to consider is, did you buy those followers? Because you can buy followers to be behind you. Because people like the Kardashians, they buy followers. Now, they can get people to watch them, but there's so many people that hate on them that they probably wouldn't get any followers. They would get more viewers than followers. You know what I mean? And the thing about viewers is they don't view you in everything that you do. Okay, so what? Like with me, I average on my cooking show, I average, 5K. 6K, 4K viewers. These are viewers. These people are not necessarily following me. Just like the ones that are listening now on TikTok. Now, when I do my little kitchen and I got 4 or 5K viewers, That's not the same when I do an interview. Now, when I put an interview up as a live, that depends on who's interested in what that interview is about. Everyone's interested in cooking and food, you know what I mean? Because it's a necessity that we need. But not everyone is going to want to listen to Brian Shirley interview. So I may get off of this interview, and this interview may be 300, 500 live people. So that's what matters to me. You know what I mean? Because you have those followers, but those followers are not there every time you get on. And, you know, people can see that for themselves in their social media feeds, because they can see that for themselves, because when a person come on and they don't have as many viewers, say I'm talking about the foam on the wall, that's not something they're interested in. So they're not going to stay. They're not going to stay around. They probably not even going to click the link to even watch it, because it's not something you're interested in. But if I say that the sky is going to fall out, the cloud's going to fall from the sky at 10 o'clock today, watch and see, I bet you I have 10,000 people listening, waiting to see if the sky is going to fall out today. Majority of them may doubt it, but they'll see it today. And I don't think that the clubs should base that on that. And then you have to look at the fact that the internet is worldwide. He may have 100,000 people, but the bulk of his people, 50,000 of them, might be in Texas
or Pakistan.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good. Your club in Florida is going to be packed.
Yes.
As soon as these people fly all the way from Pakistan, there, smarty.
Yes. So that is not a smart move. When this person had people online that, like you say, maybe 10,000 people in Pakistan, wherein he should be promoting in the local area, because in the local area there's probably, let's say 3,000 people that know you and want to see you, that can actually be there and pack your club. So that's stupid right there. Oh my gosh.
Well, I just did a sold out show in North Carolina, and
yeah, you're known in that area.
It's like, it was, I don't even know if it was specifically because I was there. I doubt it. I think it was just because we put a good lineup, and, you know, nobody probably heard of us, but people were wanting to see a comedy show at this country club. Mm-hmm. And we, did a decent job with promoting it. And next thing you know, the damn thing is just packed. And I mean,
but you have your following in North Carolina. You have people that are familiar with you and like your comedy and will come out to see you. Now, but before
this club wants me back. They're like, can
you
do another,
I don't blame them.
45 minutes, and I'm like, I'll do a whole new, set.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to run out of time, but I do have some questions that I do want to get to ask you. I want to ask you about your books. Now, you've published 3 books that most people don't know about.
No, I haven't really pushed those that much, because I used to sell them after the show. They're joke books, folks.
Yeah, they are. One of them is called Make Love, Not Warts.
Yes.
A funny thing happened to me on the way to the club. Now, writing comedy, how is it different from performing it live? Do you use those jokes out?
These are actually jokes. I mean, they're one-liners. They're silly sayings. Like look before you leap. People in glass houses don't have a lot of privacy. One of them I made into a shirt that still sells real well after my shows, and it's you always heard all your life which came first, the chicken or the egg. Well, if you read my second book, you find out the rooster came first and the chicken was disappointed. Now, if you didn't get that, I'm not explaining.
Wait. Okay, you said the rooster came first. And what? What was the second part?
The chicken was disappointed. See,
so the chicken was disappointed. Now the rooster.
It's a play on that old saying. The old saying is, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Okay. My saying is, the rooster came first and the chicken was disappointed. See, it's kind of a dirty joke.
Yeah, because I'm trying to understand it.
Right. And you have to kind of put yourself in a dirty mindset.
Because the rooster is the male, right? He's the male. He's the one that impregnates the chicken. At least I always thought that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the male.
Okay.
Right.
So it's one rooster with a house full of hens.
Oh, I don't know that. I just know he came first and the chicken was pissed off.
Wait.
It doesn't matter how many hens are there.
This is interesting because I never do this. I'm not a country girl. I am from the city. I'm from Jersey.
I'm not either. I just write the jokes.
I don't know that. So, I mean, is there really just one rooster to the whole hen house?
Oh, now you're asking me scientific questions. I don't know. I just write damn jokes, lady. I don't go out and investigate it.
I know.
Let me make sure this joke is factually correct.
Yeah, so because you said actually the rooster came first.
Yeah, and the chicken was...
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, it has nothing to do with him walking into the hen house. It has nothing to do with that. They could be on the roof of the hen house. It don't matter about the hen house.
It took me a minute to get that.
Yeah, it did.
That's how denied and empty my life is. I couldn't even figure it out.
You just don't watch dirty movies like
I don't even.
Anyway.
Yes.
So
that made me drift off for a moment, but yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it did. It will, because you're unsatisfied and now you're aggravated.
I see. My life is, so lonely that the first thing I thought about was the rooster and having all these hens. When you've been in the relationship that's infidelity and stuff, you think about, well, that just pisses me off because that's what's wrong with men today. Men just think that just because they're a man, they can have all of these women. And you saying that made me think of the theory, and I never thought of it that way. And then I didn't catch on to what you're saying, but I catch on to it now, and now I understand.
It's a play on words.
I got you.
It juxtaposes the first, statement about the chicken and the egg. So, I did that one time at a country club. The guy that was booking me, he's stringent. He's like, you got to be clean, And I'm like, okay. And I mean, we can get away with, a little bit, but I this is when I first started doing the bit, and I did it. And he came up, and I had said crap, but not crap. I said S. You know what I mean? Somewhere in the act, I said a cuss word or something. Mm-hmm. And he comes up and he's like, he's all irritated about it. Well, yeah, you said this and that. And then he's mad. He's getting out. He's going off on me. And all of a sudden it hit him and he went, oh, and a rooster came. I'm going... and this is a comedian.
He says, and the rooster came. Well, why did he say that? Why did he say that?
Because I go, Scott, that is a innuendo. That's a play on word. It was one of the most ridiculous conversations I've ever had with anybody. Because I guess the guy that owned the place was going, oh, he did it, So I'm at a club I'm in Myrtle Beach doing a club about, a week later. And sometimes you get these small crowds. Like, we got 10 people. But, you still got to do the show. Mm-hmm. And we're doing this show. And there's a pastor there. I'm talking, when I say pastor, that's a church leader, right? He's sitting there. And whenever I have 10 people in the audience, I don't just slap jokes out. Because you're going to run out of material real quick with 10 people. Because their laugh is like, huh, and that's about it. You got to get to the next joke. So there again, I kind of talked to him. And I told that story. And I said, wait a second, you're a pastor? And he goes, yeah. Let me ask you a question. And I told him that whole thing I just told y'all about, the country club. And I said, what do you think? Was that joke really that bad? And the guy goes, no. So, I mean, I'm like, I got a pastor that laughed at that joke and didn't think it was, too dirty or whatever. So, it's all in perception, but that's based, that's one of the jokes out of the books. And then the third book is called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Club. Mm-hmm. The second book is 4.7 Beers Ago. So it's Make Love Not Warts, 4.7 Beers Ago, and then A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Club. And that's different than the first two. It's short stories about true stories about being on the road. And at that point, it was 20 years or so. And then I do some of those stories on stage. I started, when I wrote that, and it was a short book that somebody asked me to write, this company put it together for me. And it's online. And I started taking those stories that I had written and doing them on stage. So now I do stories, too, in my show. Not every show. It just depends. But I punch them up. You know what I mean? It's not like you have to wait the whole time and then the laugh comes at the end. I'm making you laugh throughout the story. And they work very well. I don't do all of them because, some of them are just not stage worthy. I worked on this thing for about a year on stage. Every week I was emceeing a club and figured out which ones were good for the stage. And, there's about 3 or 4 of them that one of them just kills. I mean, when I get to that final punch, it is like bam. And a couple of them are quicker. But one of them is a good 3, 4, 5. I mean, I can stretch that thing out for 5 minutes with the right crowd and just have them rolling the whole time. And that's a different skill. And I love doing that. I love telling jokes and getting the fast laughs. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, let's do that. But when you can get into a story and pull that audience in, and when you get to that final bam, that final hook, it gets claps sometimes. You know what I mean? They're laughing, but they're clapping because it's like the end of a movie or something. You know what I mean? It's like the end of it's a story. And you just bring this crescendo or whatever you say in, and it's like a big wave. You get on the wave and you ride it all the way into the shore.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now, BTS, before I let you go, your web series, BTS, On the Road, it gives audience a behind-the-scenes look at film festivals and different things. How does acting in scripts, comedy, compare to the improvisation on stage?
So that started as a web series back when you and I probably first started getting together on your show. And what happened was over the years is still going. There was a while that I didn't really did it, but now I'm doing it shorter versions because that's what's good now. You do these UGC videos or you do, vertical videos. And that's what I've turned it into. It's more of a vertical with and sometimes I will add clips from stuff from the road. But what it is I'm just showing you what it's like to be an entertainer on the road. Whether now I'm pulling in acting and DJ sometimes and whatever I'm doing. Usually I try to show you the venue, or if I can, or sometimes I'll have the other acts with me and we'll do a shout out or whatever. But really it's a shout out from the road is really what it is. And it's usually nowadays 3, 4 minutes, maybe 5. I've got one from Japan, I did, and all over the place. Back in the day, I got them from all over, and they'd be 20 minutes long, some of these. And music, and I really worked my butt. But if anybody in the world knows about editing and putting videos together, I'm talking to her right now, Lena. You know how much work all that is. Mm-hmm. And I guess at a certain point, I kind of got frustrated because you do all that work and you get 20 views. Oh, boy. You know, so I just, for a while there, I went, screw it. I'm not doing that anymore. And then I got back into it and started putting them on directly on Facebook. And now I'm getting 500, 600, 700, 800 views.
And
sometimes.
You're more popular since then. More people know about your name since then. I mean, it always starts out small. It's like I tell people about, this radio business and stuff that I'm in, that I didn't have any followers. I didn't have nobody. I had 0 on all platforms.
Right.
And it took me, I had to build. I had to build from there. I mean, one person told me that she Googled me, and I have over 1 million followers.
Wow.
She was just like impressed, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
You should be headlining a comedy club.
So, I mean, I should have more money. That's what I should have, Brian. I should have more money, but I don't. But
I know, but according to these comedy club owners, 1 million followers. What do you want to do, Vegas?
Oh yeah, I do Vegas, and then they kick me out when nobody shows up. What happened to the?
I mean, that's what happens anyway. These guys
have?
got all these followers, and then they go on stage and walks out on the show.
And half of those people half the people in the audience just heard of that person that night. Those 1 million followers that got me booked are not the 1 million followers that's going to be in your audience.
No.
So, I think people look at things, completely backwards. I think people look at things completely backwards.
Well, I think it's a case of, this is the way things are. People want to get, like I said, you got to figure out how to get butts in the seats. I agree. I mean, totally. And promotion is part of that, and having, followers is too. But I think it kind of gets a little ridiculous when, that's the big, that's really what we're going to base things on. And it's got into acting too, believe it or not. There are some, I don't know if they're casting, I don't know, casting folks are usually really good, but productions or something, I've heard, not a lot, but, if you don't have this many followers, then such and such company isn't even going to look at you, as an actor. And, that's fine. It's like, all right, whatever. Because there's so many venues out there now, so it's I don't get too pissed about it anymore. I used to really get frustrated about all that. But now it's like, you know what? I mean, I'm getting work. I don't care. You don't want to do it that way.
That's right.
That's fine. I mean, I'm doing people's living room, and then they're tipping me more than I would make in one night at a club anyway. I mean, I'm just talking about the tip. I'm not even talking about what I charge, I'm just talking about the guy coming up and handing me, $100 and something going, thanks so much, and then when they pay me on whatever platform, Venmo or whatever, they're tipping me on there too. I'm like, okay, why am I worried? I'm not, screw it.
So you, so you played a lot of different roles, wore a lot of different hats as a comedian, actor. Which one feels more natural to you? Is it the comedian roles?
Acting, I don't know. I did one the other day, audition. I didn't get it, and I didn't get the latest one. I got a call back yesterday that I didn't get, but that's either here or there. And wow, man, it was, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And you can, folks, if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can see the. Sometimes I'll put my auditions up every once in a while. And there's one I did where I'm talking about licking my fingers because I don't wash my hands, and it's
oh
weird.
My gosh!
Yeah, I didn't write this, folks. This is an audition for a film, but the way it was written and everything, I read it and I just knew the person. You know what I mean? I said,
Jimmy,
God, I know this guy.
And you say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
And
she's following. She's following and says, okay, this is what we said. This is the path. Now,
hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Go
Her
ahead.
job would be to complement that. Is that if anything happens that would deter you off the current.
Go ahead. Okay.
So I do this audition, and it was just wow. You know, once I didn't even get it down that good as I should have, but as far as the lines, but I knew the guy, and it felt like a glove. It was just one of those characters I could identify with immediately. As soon as I read it one time, I went, oh yeah, I got the tone, I got, you know, the way, the joke, you know, if you can say it's a joke. And those are cool. And that don't have to be comedic character. It could be a straight character. It could be a dark character. It could be a villain. It could be a sympathetic. It's just whenever you can just identify with somebody so quick. And when I say somebody, I mean the character. That it's like, oh yeah, I want to play this guy. That's what I like. You know, and so it doesn't really matter as the tone. I love doing horror movies, to be honest. And I had the callback was for a horror movie yesterday, and I didn't get it. But I'm going to watch this thing now because I want to see the guy that they chose. You know what I mean? Well, I'm not in a bad way. Just I'll learn.
Yeah. It was a good script, and you didn't get it, so you're interested in seeing what it's going to look like when it comes out.
Yeah, and these guys were nice. I liked the director and the producer, and just because they didn't choose me doesn't mean I'm not anything bad, really. It's like, now they know who I am. You know, these are kids that are just starting out. They did some shorts, and this is their first feature. They're shooting it down in Florida. They've shot a short film that's about 12 minutes long that going into that, they knew they were going to make a feature out of it. They did this. They did everything the right way. They did the short. They put together a crowdfunding thing based on this short. They sent it to film festivals first. It got nominated in some, and it won a few others in in smaller film festivals. And now I can watch this thing and go, okay, that's what they were. Now I might see the guy that played the character I was up for and go, well, there's nothing I could have done anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, he's got more hair, or because the lady that the character, the main character, she's in the short, so they're going to use her in the feature too. So it might have been simple as there's another guy that looks more like her. You know, you don't know why you didn't get chosen. So that's part of the learning process. But part of the other thing is like I said, they do another, this thing's successful. If it's successful and it looks good, then I'm going, they know me, so they might have another, they might write something else. And I've had this happen where, you don't get a role, but then all of a sudden from 2 or 3 years ago, somebody contacts you and go, hey, you tried out for this part and whatever. And we want you to do this part for this new film. That's happened. So it is important to always get on there, do your best, and then even if you don't get it, not, think it's a bad thing. It's like, hey, I got a call back. They know who I am,
Yeah. So let's, I'm going to have to wrap it up, but I do have 2 more questions. What advice would you give young entertainers that's trying to build a career across multiple creative fields? They're singing, they're acting, they're doing all types of stuff. So what advice would you give them?
Well, I would start. There are so many ways now to be creative and make money. And I know I'm going against the grain as far as parental advice and stuff like that. But, I mean, if you're going to do it, and we're talking entertainment, at some point you're going to have to go all in. And I learned that, in the last 6 or 7 years. You got to make a full commitment. Now, do you have to do it if you're young? No, but you can start seeing how many different skills you have. Like I said, go out and host trivia, call bingo. If you've got a sound system, try to DJ. But small things. I don't DJ. I don't have two turntables and a microphone, as Beck says. I don't do all that spinning stuff. I do weddings, pool parties. I just did a corporate event, Christmas party last week. You know, simple. I do simple things. I mean, if I look at the breakdown and they're wanting, you know, all this lighting and whatever, I turn it down or I give it to somebody else. So just see where you can fit. If you want to be an entertainer, go out and do as much stuff that has to do with entertainment that makes money to where you don't have to have a day job. And now you're your own boss, and if you do get, you know, a break on whatever you're trying to do, comedy, acting, music, you can just, you know, you got your own schedule. So you can go to Canada, you know, and tomorrow if you have to. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Okay, now looking ahead. Let's look ahead. What's one of the project or dreams that you haven't tackled yet, but would love to do?
I want to be in either a Marvel franchise movie, if they're still doing them, or if not, you know, I want to be on a big time project as a supporting, or, you know, it'd be nice to be a lead, but, you know, in a supporting role at least, you know, in a big budget horror, or, I mean, it could be a drama too, but I mean, I'd really love to do a horror, a sci-fi, or, you know, one of these Marvel things. I am in a fan Marvel thing. I'm in a Spider-Man. Now, that's a fan film, which means, you know, it's low budget. They don't make any money. And then I've got voice on an animated one coming out next year. And once again, I play Groot, believe it or not, from Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, in this, so I'm kind of getting there, but no, I'd love to be in, you know, one of these big budget Marvel sci-fi or horror movie. I mean, that's really what I want to do. And I've been on big sets, you know, like Righteous Gemstones and Outer Banks and Mr. Mercedes as background, or I've been stand-in and I've been featured background. Halloween ends, but you know, I haven't got that supporting role or day player even in one of these bigger productions. So that's what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm, you know, going for. Now I've been lead in commercials and stuff, you know, which is nice, but and those are giving me a lot of experience. And the indie films that I've been doing, those are great. That's a lot of good experience doing these independents that some have done really well, but kind of nice to be in those.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know, you seem like you doing your own thing. I mean, happy. We all go through ups and downs with our careers and stuff like that. Yeah. That's a given. But for the most part, you seem happy and content, Brian, and I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to see that. And I was really looking forward to, you know, getting on this show and hearing you and talking to you. It just kind of brought back old times and old memories. I still play our show.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you know that. Yeah, it's on, I have a 24/7 podcast radio station. And they're called the LJDN Show Classics.
Oh, wow. That's cool. The leader and Brian Hour or whatever it was.
Yeah. I still have majority of those shows.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a good thing.
And I mean, that's
great for YouTube or whatever those platforms are, because you can look back and go, oh, I forgot about whatever. You know, I did this and that, or what guest you had on. Or
I was going to try to find that Christmas one, but I don't know. I don't know whether to be embarrassed or to laugh about it, because it was just not good.
Right. Well, the other thing, though, about what you do and what I used to do is the folks that we've met over all these years of doing these podcasts. One guy that I interviewed he played General Marshall in Oppenheimer. And then there's other folks that I've interviewed that have gone on and just blown up. And I can't even think of all of them. Jamie Bernadette is an actress I interviewed that is all over the place now. That's just one. There's two that I can think of. And I know that you've had the same thing happen where you run into these people that you've interviewed and you look at them down the road and it's like, wow, which is really cool. I do follow a lot of the folks that I've had on, and we did together. We've had some pretty cool people whenever we were back in the day. Because I remember I would go get us guests sometimes,
and we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. So if you get a chance, Diamonds, you are more than welcome to check out. I don't even know who that is. These telemarketers driving me crazy. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's my agent.
But we had a lot of fun, a lot of good times, and I saved them and I played them because people are listening to the podcast radio station because that's all it does is play podcasts 24/7. And it also, it's not just good for me, but it's also good for you. Because people who didn't know who Brian Shirley is.
Well, I think we interviewed a lady that's one of the screen queens, as a matter of fact. We did. Folks.
Oh, we did. Yeah, one of those. She died, didn't she?
No. Yeah, one of the folks that we did interview. But there was another lady that. She's Maria Olson. I believe we interviewed her.
Yeah, we did.
And she's another one that has a lot of films out there. Folks, I'm telling you, we interviewed some pretty cool people back in the day. And I mean, Lena still does. But if y'all go check those out and then go on IMDb, Internet Movie Database, you will be amazed at some of the people that we've talked to. I'm serious. I'm not trying to blow Lena, up. But it's true. Lena has interviewed a lot of really cool people, and I don't know if the Diamonds, really respect all that you've done over the years, but I hope they do, because you've been amazing.
I've interviewed so many people. At one point, when I look back at all those shows, some of them I lost because, computer problems or this or that. But for the most part, I've kept all of my shows. Shows I did by myself, shows I did with Megan, shows I did with Brian, with you. I kept all of those. And when I look back, it's a lot of people that I've interviewed, but none of them have called back to interview me. I'm just playing.
Oh, well, some of them don't have shows.
I know. I'm just playing.
But no, I do remember having you on the BTS radio.
Yeah, you had me on there. You and American Hearts Radio.
Oh, that's right. Mike did too. That's right. Yeah. Mike Loya, who I still, keep in touch with, and his father, who's a magician, Dennis.
Yeah.
We were on the road quite a bit.
I remember that. I do. Yeah. I remember that.
And by the way, they're good friends. Mike's good friends with Leonard Skinner, and he knows the lead singer real well.
I know that was one of the things that he was playing is that Leonard Skinner music.
Mike calls me one day. He did this to me twice. Calls me one day and he goes, "Hey, somebody wants to talk to you." And I'm like, "Well, what?" And he hands the phone to Johnny Van Zant. And I'm like, "Hello?" And "Hey, Brian, it's Johnny Van Zant, lead singer of Leonard Skinner." I'm like, "What?" I mean, what do you do when all of a sudden you're talking to this person?
Yes.
Whether you like him or not, you know who he is. Mm-hmm. And you're just going, hi. I I mean, what do you say? So he did that to me a few times. Actually, you know what? And I don't know if anybody's gonna believe this. They can go on YouTube and look at. They recorded one of the conversations, and it's on YouTube. It was real quick, but you can see it says Brian Van Zant talks to Brian G. Shirley.
Oh, that's nice.
That's like,
very nice.
You recorded it? He filmed it.
Oh, he filmed it.
He filmed it, yeah. He didn't record it. You actually visually see Johnny, and hear me. I don't know if you can hear me, but I said some dirty joke to him because I didn't know what to say. I was like, Mike's your pimp now, isn't he? Or something up there. Because Mike was using him all over the place to promote American Arts Radio. And so, that's the first thing that entered my head. I said, so, I mean, Mike's got you pimping now, huh?
And American Hearts, they're doing really good, right?
I think so. I haven't kept up with them, to be honest. No, I mean, Mike had a lot of big-time folks on there, too. I mean, because he
had his show radio before I went into radio. He was already up.
Didn't he play either our show or your show or both on their network?
I think it was one of my shows. I think it was just the LJDN.
I know y'all did some cross-promoting.
Yeah, we did.
Exactly what happened.
It's been a minute.
I mean, there you go, folks. I mean, it's over the years, like I said, check out all the things Lena's done, and you will be amazed with all the people that she's been in contact with.
I've had people that contacted me that thank me because I helped make their book the #1 seller on Amazon books and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. Didn't even know. Fantastic.
Didn't know I did it, So, it's all about, for me, it's all about helping people. I mean, we have a purpose here on this earth. I'm still trying to figure out where God wants me to be because I've came close to death so many times. But he hasn't taken me. So I'm just, trying to figure out my direction. You'd think I would have a clue by now, but I don't. I really don't.
I think you're doing what you should be doing.
Yeah, it seems to come natural to me. I just wish he'd take away the problems that come along with it.
That ain't going to happen. I've learned that. If I went over my life the last year, you would go, oh, really? And I'd go, yeah. So the problems, you realize around a year ago, almost, I got a letter from my landlord, and it was said, by the way, we're selling the apartments. Maybe it was in November a year ago. And we've got, by the way, we've got you're getting a new landlord, basically. And I've lived in these apartments for like 15 years. And the guy had told me, oh, we're never selling these. And all of a sudden we get this notice, oh, we've been bought by la la la. And I was like, what? And we're going to raise your rent by 50%. So imagine, folks, let's say you're paying $1,000. All of a sudden, you're paying $1,500. And you got 2 months to decide. Mm-hmm. So that happened last year. So I moved, and I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to live. Let's put it that way. I mean, I've got a place, but I'm not happy where I'm at. Mm-hmm. But when you have to get out that quick, which 2 months, you're like, oh, that's a lot of time. No, not when,
I tell you, you can't make this stuff up. No. When life happens like that, you can't make this stuff up. It's just something that.
So I'm still in a transition right now, and I'm kind of taking a break. Right, I'm like, let's get the career going. I'm in a place temporarily, but let's worry about getting an agent and all that other crap, and then I'll get a place. More permanent. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm in temporary housing, which is fine. I finally kind of settled with it. But you can't, if you're planning on moving, that's one thing. But if you're not, and then you still got gigs that you got to do, then you got to get out. It's kind of hard. So that's what happens. That's what's funny is that when you bring that up about, will the problems go away?
They just don't.
Not so much.
It's just the problem of owning a business. I did venture out and get my own. What am I gonna say? I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Well, I guess it just wasn't important because I just had a brain fart and it went away.
Well, hopefully it doesn't stay.
Oh, I know what I did. I did venture out and got my own studio. I finally opened up a studio. I've been waiting for so long, and I finally opened up a studio. That was the year that COVID attacked everything, and the government shut down everything.
Isn't it great that you decide to do these things at the worst times?
And you know what? While I'm working in the building, putting everything together, I have the radio on. I hear the stuff about COVID, but just like everyone else, I paid no attention to it.
Right.
I paid no attention to it until my grand opening. My grand opening was February the 1st of
2020.
2020.
The worst possible time to do anything.
Yes,
in public.
the governor shut down the state that month. You couldn't even. They didn't want you driving. Only emergency vehicles back and forth. But they didn't. I never got bothered coming from my home to the studio to do work. So I never got bothered with that. They shut everything down. It was only necessity. So here I was, brand new studio, grand opening, crickets.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, okay, we're not going to let this get you down. This is just a cold thing, like everybody else thought that COVID was a passing thing. So I still paid the rent. I paid the rent all the way up to July. Yep. I paid the rent $1,000 a month.
Oh my God.
With no clients.
Oh.
Zero. So once my, savings took a dive, and then people started coming after me for the loans, I had to close. Never had a chance. So all the stuff that I had purchased to go into this building, because the building was for video and podcasting,
right.
I had to now go find a storage space.
Yeah.
So it was not a good year for me, and I haven't been able to pick it back up since then. And it's a part of me that's kind of scared to go out there and do it again. It's like where I had a cushion of money, and I said, okay, I should be good with this cushion of money because, you get clients and stuff. I got no clients because of COVID. So now I don't need a cushion. I need a stack.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what I call my war chest. I had my war chest, and then COVID, and I lost everything. Like you. I mean, there was no work. It was like
there was no work, and the government wouldn't give me no money. Everybody around me was getting money. 7 people that didn't even have businesses. They were making up that they had businesses. They get $14,000 checks and stuff like that. I go to apply to get some of the money back from the loans that I had taken out to open up the place. They told me because the place never officially opened that I was not eligible. Even though I had been in business for several years in my home studio. When I opened the brick and mortar, they said that's it. But we're going to get off the line because we are way past our mark. I'm going to chat with Brian offline, but right now, our time online, we have been over that mark. But I enjoyed talking to you, Brian.
Yes.
You want to say hello to you want to say goodbye to my diamonds?
Yes. I hope you diamonds out there have a wonderful Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate during this time of the year.
And give them some information about you.
if you want to check me out, just put Brian T, Brian, then my middle initial T, as in Thomas, Shirley, Shirley. Just like the girl, Brian T. Shirley. Just, I'm not going to give you all the sites. All you got to do is Google. That's the simple thing.
Google me. That's right.
Because if you Google me, all the everything will pop up. I mean, if I was going to send them somewhere, I'd say go check me out on IMDb, because that kind of helps.
Well, all that should pop up with your name.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, all of it pops up. Facebook. I'm kind of in between websites right now too. I'm using Gig Salad as my comedy website, and then IMDb is really my acting thing. So I don't have an official Brian T. Shirley website right now. Only because I pay so much for all these other things. I'm like, let me just let that run for a little bit, and once I get an agent and figure things out, I'll build a website. But
have you registered your name?
I'm sorry?
Have you registered your name? Well, we're going to get out of here. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. I thank you. I appreciate it. LJDN Radio should be back on track on this evening. And this recording will be on YouTube tonight. And I will see you guys. This is my Thursday. So I will see you guys on Monday. Have a nice weekend, Diamonds. Bye-bye.